of pregnancy, labor and delivery, right? And they got done with it and they didn't feel themselves. They didn't look the same. They didn't feel the same. A lot of things changed. Normally, that young lady wants to get back to her form before the pregnancy. She wants to get back to the shape that she was in. So how does she do that? How does she feel motivated again? How does she get inspired again? How does she get back into the mode that she was in before she got pregnant? Or is this a lifelong sentence? This is a lifelong sentence to being overweight, out of shape, and unenthused. We're going to examine that today. So if you guys got any comments for me, put them in the chat for me. Put in the chat if you've had a baby before, what you did to get back in shape, if you delivered a child before and you never got back to form, and what processes you went through to try to get back to that form. All right, so put that in the chat for me. Now, I got a young lady today and we're going to talk to her a little bit. All right, now she's 31 years old. She's pretty young. She just had a baby. Her baby is 9 months old. Okay, before the baby, she worked out 4 to 5 days a week. She meal planned and meal prepped. She strength trained. She went in and out of calorie deficits. Okay, very inspired, always worked out, never had an issue. Carries the baby, delivers the baby, falls out of motivation. Okay, doesn't want to meal prep, has these different cravings and now these different food habits that she adopted throughout the pregnancy. She's not liking what she looks like in the mirror. She's not liking what clothes look like on her as well. She's dealing with sleep deprivation. She's dealing with a lack of self-confidence. Her sex life is not where it used to be before the pregnancy. Her husband's telling her she looks beautiful, she looks fine, this is just part of the process, she'll get back there soon, but she is not okay with it right now. She's insecure about her relationship. She's insecure about how she looks and how she's performing, or how she's not performing perhaps. And she just wants to figure out, is this a lifelong sentence? Because if she thinks she's going to have more children, she doesn't want to get worse over time. She doesn't want to look up 3 kids later and she's just a completely different person. So she's actually thinking about never having kids again. Okay. So she asked, what should she do? Is it possible to get back to where she was before the pregnancy? Or is this a lifelong sentence? Is it just impossible to get back to that form? So today, we are going to give her some answers. We're going to give her some advice, because that is what we do on the Transformation Station. All right. So I am your gracious host, Coach Mark. If you want to email me a story just like this young lady, please do so at coachmark22@gmail.com. That is Coach Mark with a C, 22@gmail.com. All right. Now, this is called Lunchtime Logic. Why is it called Lunchtime Logic? Because, guys, you will see that normally I'm eating lunch, okay? Most of you are on your lunch hour if you're catching this live. It's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. So it is lunchtime. So we like to talk about logical ways that we can enhance our fitness, our health, our wellness. All right, that's what we do. There's nothing better to do with another human being than to sit down, have a healthy meal, and discuss ways that we can get better, okay? I think that enhances us in many different ways. So you're always going to see me eating. Now today, guys, I have 1 sweet potato, a can of tuna, 3 ounces. I believe it is 5 ounces of ground turkey, and then I have 5 ounces of chicken breast. Now, a lot of times you guys will see my meals don't change up too much. And a lot of us fitness influencers, a lot of us who are in health and fitness, our meals don't have a lot of variety, guys. I gotta be honest with you. That's probably, it becomes the most boring part of your life. I gotta be honest with you. But it's effective. All right. A lot of protein, guys. I stay a little bit lower on the carbs, but you don't have to. Okay. You could have 2 carb sources and 2 protein sources. That's what I love to tell my coaching clients, man. Let's keep it as balanced as possible. Sometimes you're going to go up a little bit. Sometimes you're going to go down on either side, meaning proteins and carbs. And those are our main macros, guys. Those aren't the only ones. We also concentrate on fiber, healthy fats, and sodium levels as well, added sugar, whatnot. But this bowl in particular, just the protein and the carbs, is 3 helpings of protein for me and 1 helping of carbs. That's what I do. So on Lunchtime Logic, guys, I urge you to go get something healthy to eat, to engage in discussion, and understand that, man, when we come in here and talk, right, we have discussions, it is to make us better. Guys, I get better by hearing your submissions and giving you advice. All right, that really helps me, to be honest with you, just because I was put here to help others achieve goals, right? But then I also learn myself. So make sure you put all comments in the screen, whatever you think might come to mind. Guys, it helps somebody. You never know who's going to watch this. Somebody could watch this a year from now. How many times do we watch a video and it's a year old? And we might look at the comments. The comment was posted a year ago, but that comment might spark you to make a change, and it changes your entire life. So your comments and your opinions, man, super valuable when you watch these type videos, especially on my platform. Please always comment. Please always weigh your opinion, weigh in, and give your opinion. All right. So let's start out with this young lady. Now, very important to understand backstories, guys. If I was coaching this young lady, I would ask her, where were you before the pregnancy? What did you do? What did your last 5 years look like? Very important. Because some people will say, oh, I never worked out a day in my life. I've always been in pretty good shape, but I never had to work out to achieve my goals. I always had a pretty nice frame. I stayed a decent size, so I never established healthy habits. What's odd about that is those people are easier. It's easier to see. It's easier for them to get to healthier habits, right? Just healthier, meaning their habits are right here. They need to get to slightly healthier habits. It's easy because they've never really tracked anything. They never paid attention. They just ate what came to mind, what was available. They did whatever they wanted to, right? They exercised when they felt like it. They exercised. They didn't exercise when they didn't, right? So it's a little easier. Someone like this young lady who had a regimented program, right? Who strength trained, who meal prepped, who walked every single day. When they go through a down period, now they're way over here and they want to get way over there. It's very tough because that person normally expects to get right back to that form very quickly. And that's what I see with this young lady. So if I was coaching this young lady, I would say we have to take baby steps. And that's very hard for this young lady to do because, no, Mark, I work out 5 days a week. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Instead of saying, yo, we're going to go 2 weeks and we're just going to work out once a week. And we're going to go 2 weeks after that and just work out twice, right? Baby steps. But she's competitive. She's a workout girly. She goes hard. I dig it, man. So that's very important. Also, it's her first child. Sis, giving birth is one of life's, man, it's one of life's greatest, man, I can't even come up with a word for it. It's just amazing how mammals and humans can give birth, right? That you can actually, create a small being and give birth to it. That's amazing, right? But the body has to go through some crazy changes to do that. So for 30 years, you hadn't given birth. You didn't carry a child and allow a child to grow in your body. Your body's not used to that. Mentally, you're not used to that. The emotions that come with it, you aren't used to, right? You became a mother. Guys, most of you guys out there are parents. You know that your mindset changed drastically when you had a child. Drastically. We thought we were responsible before we had children. And then we learned quickly what responsibility is. Because when you have to give 100% to make sure that someone else is okay, that's different, bro. Especially someone who's helpless. So sis, you became a mother. So because of that, so many changes went on in your body, and rightfully so. God designed us a certain way on purpose. You were supposed to go through these changes. You were supposed to go through different emotions. Your hormones were supposed to change. Had to, because again, now you're responsible for a helpless human being. and before you weren't. So many things change throughout your pregnancy. Your hormones, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. That's just a few of them. Probably every hormone possible flowing around in your system had changes made to it. Whether it be cortisol levels, you know, your sleep patterns are different. So where your body used to recover, maybe it took longer for your body to recover. Eating different, your calories change, right? Your desires change. People talk about, you know, weird food cravings that they had while they're pregnant. Well, a lot of that is due to hormone imbalance, and then you have different hunger cravings because there's another human being inside of your body. You've never had that before, right? So there are things that you started craving that you're like, why am I craving this food, right? Why am I craving this combination? We hear a lot of pregnant women talking about crazy combinations, right? And what's crazy is if you're a healthy person, like this young lady, she didn't, even if she had those type cravings, she didn't give in to them before the pregnancy. So she went from probably only eating ice cream once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, to now she's craving it every other day with pickles, right? So many things changed in a matter of months. So now you don't have the energy that you used to have. Now, I don't know how long you worked out throughout your pregnancy. I think that's very important. And to anybody who's thinking of having a child, guys, I'm telling you, get with some type of coach or trainer. In any way you need to learn how to figure this out, you should try to be active for as long as you possibly can throughout your pregnancy. Guys, the human body does what it's used to doing, okay? Whatever it used to do, it's going to get back to form very quickly. So if you think pregnancy is a time for you to become sedentary and become lackadaisical and become lethargic, that's what your body's going to get used to, and that's what it's going to want to do after you have the child, okay? Now, because you were very active, your body does want to get back to that, right? But again, you might have been consuming 2,000 calories a day. You got a child inside of you. You might be consuming 3, right? You might have had bigger cravings for carbs, sugar. And because your emotions were different, and you obviously didn't want to starve your unborn child of nutrients. So a lot of times you give in to that, okay? So your whole regimen and program probably changed a bit, and rightfully so. So now you give birth, beautiful process. You have this healthy baby, which is a blessing. Now you're different, right? Because it takes the body, ladies, it takes 6, 7, 8 months to a year for your hormones to all the way balance out, right? Progesterone, estrogen, and guys, we're not talking about, that's if you're not breastfeeding, okay? And there are reasons behind it. Also, just as we're talking about hormones, guys, we talk about sleep and recovery being our best way to balance our hormones. Well, if your sleep is fragmented because you have a new baby, you can't rest and recover the same way, right? Your body is used to recovering every night from this time to that time. Now it's not doing that. So First of all, it's going to take a while, sweetie. Again, probably the greatest thing you'll ever do in life is to create another life. Well, to create another life, we don't just bounce back to where we were before we created that life. So you have to give it time, okay? So you have irregular sleep now that you had this baby. Hormones are going crazy. You don't feel attractive because you look in the mirror and think, I don't look attractive. Those two things lend to inconsistencies in the bedroom with husband, right? That's tough. That's so tough, and I don't think it's talked about enough. Because husband doesn't know how you're feeling and what you want to do. Your feelings might be all over the place. Your sleep's all over the place. You don't feel attractive, right? Guys, when we're divided in the bedroom, even if it's just maybe we're in a great spot relationship-wise, but if we just haven't consistently been connecting sexually like we were before, that causes a bit of separation. Unknown separate. We just, I don't know if they, well, I don't, because you don't feel like it and he feels like it. And then when he doesn't feel like it, you feel it, right? We're not connected. That can also throw you for a loop, sweetie, because, you know, we can say it's all about macros. It's all about calories in, calories out. It's all about building muscle, right? Muscle recovery. We can say it's all about that. But man, when we're disconnected from that person, oh man, it doesn't seem like any progress. It seems like we go nowhere when it comes to health and fitness and wellness. So I'm sure that things are different in that regard, okay? So now you have this person, and then also too, mentally, ladies, let's be clear about something. She didn't have anybody to worry about 9 months ago. Of course, there was a fetus, right? It was growing into a human being inside of her body. But this human being didn't have a face yet, didn't have a name, didn't have a personality, okay? So one thing I could tell you is just where before you could just be a bit selfish a lot of the day, right? Depending on what your career, you know, what your what type of job you have or what type of career or business you have, you could be pretty selfish a lot of days. Now you can't. And not only that, during this phase, you have to be extra attentive because as time goes on, we can let our hand off the hole, right? But for right now, somebody got to be holding the baby. Is the baby asleep? Does the baby need burped? Does the baby need a binky? Does the baby need fed? All these things. So one thing we know that, ladies, when your mind is preoccupied, YouTube cut me off a little bit. So one thing that we know that when a woman's mind is somewhere else, she gets centrally focused on that item. So if that item is, again, a human being, which is a newborn, it's very hard for a woman then to focus solely on herself. And that's a good thing, right? That's natural. Because you can't be super selfish and be a great mother. It's hard to do that, okay? So, you talked about needing motivation, needing inspiration, wanting to be as driven as you were before, and wanting to get back to that form, okay? So, let's talk about how we can get there. Well, sis, I needed you to understand how much you've changed since that time. It's not saying the changes were bad, but you went through a life-altering situation, right? And normally when we go through a life-altering situation, we don't come back the same. It's not saying we come back worse, but we don't come back exactly the same, right? Car accident, right? Childbirth, living abroad for 6 months, okay? Incarceration, perhaps, right? Going through a 4 years in the military. You're not the same afterward, okay? So guess what? Don't expect yourself to be the same. I work with a ton of clients who come to me and say, Mark, I want to be back where I was at when I was 21. Bro, you're 41. You'll never be back to where you were at 21. You may be better than what you were at 21. Let's be clear about that. You could be better. You could be more knowledgeable. You could be a more caring person. But bro, you're not going to be the same. Okay? You've lived 2 decades past that. So sis, over these last 18 months, your life has drastically changed. You're not going to be the same person. But I would imagine you'd be okay with being better. Okay? So let's focus on that. Now, first of all, let's use the resources that we have available to us. Guys, we're on YouTube right now. There are tons of mothers and women who specialize in workouts for new mothers, meal plans for new mothers, habit regimens for new mothers, ways to deal with navigating through being a new mother and getting back in shape. They have groups on Facebook. I'm sure there are many Instagram pages, TikTok pages. Guys, we're on social media anyway. Let's make use of it. Let's make use of it. There are so many supportive outlets that other women are involved with that you can take little nuggets from everybody and implement into your own life. Okay, so first of all, let's make sure we're using those resources, especially if you haven't gone back to work fully yet. You have a lot of time. Okay, now let's address a couple of things first. Consistency is going to be your key. Okay, but there are inconsistent things going on, meaning child schedule, sleep schedule. A child could have doctor's appointments, things like that going on. You may have a nanny, you may have a mother or a father or a mother-in-law helping you out with the baby, but that could be inconsistent, okay? Consistency is key, and we start with, can I get something done that's going to keep revealing itself? Meaning this, most of the time, you have sometime in the morning between, I don't know, 7 a.m., 10 a.m. that you're awake. Okay, I'm awake during that time normally. No matter what happened the night before, baby's up or the baby's asleep, I know for sure that time I have a fragment. Let's establish 3 different times per day that you can sit down and have a meal, 15 minutes, and that you can walk for another 10 or 15. And that walk might be around your house. Guys, we can't always get outside. It's beautiful if we can. I love the outdoors. But guys, we can't always get outside. Some of you guys live in 5,000 square foot homes and you say, I don't have anywhere to walk. Walk around your house, okay? So steps are just, when we say intentional steps, we're just talking about with 10, 15 minutes, I'm not gonna stop moving. I am not going to stop moving. That is your garage, that's your driveway. That's up and down the stairs in your building. That's around your apartment, your loft, your townhouse, your single family home, your mansion, whatever it might be. Move, okay? Now we said 3 times a day, but we're just gonna start out with 1 because sis, again, consistency. And we have to establish consistency before we can jump to all these other things. Now, I understand that you were working out 4 and 5 times a week. Workout warrior. Sis, your life has changed. Again, you can get back to that. We can't get back to that overnight. And stop expecting yourself to be able to get back there overnight. And you don't have to. You're 31. You don't have to have it figured out in the next year, okay? Establish that one time that you're going to have a healthy meal and that you're going to move. Now, is it going to move the needle with weight loss? Is it going to move the needle with body recomp? Not too much, right? But it will establish consistency. It will give you something to look forward to the next day. It will give you more self-security because you will know that you're moving toward progress. You ever been on a road trip? As soon as you get in the car and get on the highway, you feel better. Why? Because you're on the way to your destination. You might have 10 more hours to go. Doesn't matter. You're moving. right? So it'll show movement. Now, I'd love for you to just do this for 2 weeks or even 3. Okay, 21 days. It's hard to the habit has been established once it hits 21 days. Okay, and then what we do moving forward is every 14 to 21 days, let's throw that second meal and movement period in. Okay, until we get to 3. Meal and movement. Movement and meal. They should go together. And I got something for you, sis. They always need to go together. For the rest of your life, they need to go together. These are outside of your workouts. These things need to go together. Because your glucose response, your insulin, the amount of insulin that stays in the bloodstream for certain periods of time, it starts to regulate. And when we have glucose regulation, when we have insulin regulation, when it's regular, when it goes up here, it goes down. It goes up here, goes down. When our body's on a rhythm like that, oh man, all types of things start to happen. Trust me on that. All types of positive things start to happen. So you establish one for 14 to 21 days, and then pile on the other, and then pile on the other. You're going to eat 3 times a day no matter what, sweetie. Okay? All right. Now, those periods of time might change every day. Today it might be 7:30. Tomorrow morning it might be 9:30. Doesn't matter. Because until the baby gets on a regimented schedule, which will come, it's going to be hard for you to get on a regimented schedule. It just is what it is. Okay? Now, after that, let's start tracking our daily wins. And our daily wins can be consuming some healthy content, watching YouTube videos, watching Food Network shows where they give you different recipes to cook healthy foods, positive conversations, right? Being involved in some type of volunteer group, I don't care what it is. If it's positive and it moves the needle and makes you feel better, that is a win. So let's start tracking your wins, and I mean all day, every day. Use your phone, open a notes app, title the notes app Wins. And you start putting a 1 every time you do something positive. 1, 1, 1. Every time something moves the needle towards you becoming your better self. And every night before you go to bed, what you're going to do is you're going to look at that win total for the day. You're going to look at that win total for the day. Because depression is real. Postpartum is real. The baby might fall ill, God forbid, right? Things are going on with your husband. You don't feel the same. You need to every day see something that shows that you're making progress. So we got the meals and the movement. Now we have tracking your daily wins, and they're small, small wins. Now, let's figure out one time we can have a full body workout. One time a week. It's not going to be on the same day. It's not going to be the same time frame. It may not be the same in length of time. Because what we do know is you know how to perform these exercises. Right? Now, you might not have worked out at home before. But let's establish some at-home workouts because, again, we have a new baby. We don't have time to go to the gym all the time. If you can get to the gym, that's amazing. But there's so much involved. And what I hear women say is that they wanted to go to the gym. They had all plans to go to the gym, but they didn't want to leave the baby at home. Oh, as soon as I got to the gym, my mother-in-law called me and said the baby wouldn't stop crying. I came back home. What ends up happening is you're mentally occupied with the what ifs when you're gone. It's a real thing. So, because you're experienced, this should not be hard at all for you. Full body weight exercises. We're talking squat thrusts. We're talking burpees. We're talking running in place. We're talking jumping jacks. We're talking push-ups. We're talking air squats. Body weight walking lunges, perhaps. Okay? Body weight strength training exercises. Okay? Once a week. And you're going to do that for 2 to 3 weeks. Same, see, with the meals and the movement, right? When we said one period of meals and movement. So we're going to do 1 workout a week. Then when we add on the second one, we'll add on 2 full body workouts per week until we get to 3. Now we're looking at, this should be about a month and a half in that you're getting to that third stage. So now it's 3 workouts per week. The time does not matter because you're not there yet. The time doesn't matter. You're at 3 meals plus 15 minutes of movement afterwards. Now we start to look for some movement to be made, okay? During this time of the unexpecteds, okay? Because it's unexpected how much sleep you're gonna get. It's unexpected how much time you're gonna have to cook. A lot of things are all over the place. What you can do is carve out time to eat, because you're gonna eat. It's pretty easy to walk for 10, 15 minutes, because half time we eat, guys. We sit at the table for 10, 15 minutes on our phones afterwards. Just time yourself the next time you eat and see how long you sit there after you're done. So normally we have time for movement. 3 workouts per week, guys. What are we talking about? 7 days in a week. Actually, these workouts are not going to feel the same as the workouts were before, because if you lifted weights or you did HIIT classes, you're not there. Again, you produced a human being. Your muscles are not as strong. Your fast twitch muscles have changed a little bit. Fast twitch muscle fibers have changed a little bit. Your cardiovascular system is not what it used to be, right? Heart rate variability is different. Maximum heart rate is different. VO2 max is different. All these things have changed. So you got to give them time to get back. At some point, you'll be working out 3 times a week just for a half an hour, 30 minutes. Set the timer, 30 minutes. I'm going to hit every body part I can. And while we love to do body weight exercises, focus on full body movements, is because we end up hitting all muscle groups. We want to target all muscle groups. We're not at a point right now that we can have a split because you don't have the time. Okay? Now, we talked about getting in 3 meals, but let's talk just a little bit about nutrition. Your cravings have changed because your needs changed. Your body changed. The other body in your body was changing. So your cravings changed. I'm going to need you to make a list of all the foods that you started consuming while you were pregnant that you want to disassociate yourself from, okay? And I don't care what it is. Make the list, all right? Guys, lists are very important because once it's on paper, it's off our mind. Once it's on paper, we can then come up with a plan to start to take care of those things. But if we keep it up here, we never do anything about it, and they're swirling around. And a lot of times, guys, it's just congesting that highway in your brain. I just got to be honest with you. It's like a traffic jam up there, all right? List down the foods that you have the cravings for that you know you should not be eating. And guess what we're going to do, sweetie? You guessed it. Every week, crossing one of them out. All right, honey buns. No honey buns this week. No honey buns this week. Next week, no chips and honey buns. Next week, no chips, honey buns, or iced coffee. Okay? Now, this might, hey, sweetie, this might take 16 weeks. Before you know it, the cravings start to lessen. Because, guys, when we are consuming more whole foods, because we have to replace the calories, our body's used to a certain amount of calories. We replace the processed carbohydrates, foods that are high in sodium, high in sugar. When we replace those with natural whole foods, our palate starts to change. Our cravings start to change or disappear, whatever they might be, right? Whatever you want to call it. So what will happen here, sis, is that your cravings and things that you were enticed to consume will change very quickly, okay? And that is very, very important because you will see a change in your composition just from that. Just from that. Once you get to a point that you've eliminated all of the the foods on that cravings list, okay? That you've just gotten it out your system, and you've gotten away from the better part of them, 80%, 90% of them. Then it's time to start counting your calories again. Then it's time to start tracking your food again. Then it's time to put an intermittent fasting regimen in. Right now, that would be probably too much too much mental stress on you, and it will be hard to stick with it. So just start eliminating some things. And what you'll find is that the scale will start to move. Your body will start to recomp, because also we're working out a couple times a week, right? We're moving every day. We're making sure to sit down and enjoy a meal. Well, if we can't have these certain foods, now we're not, it kind of cures the nighttime eating. Remember the nighttime eating habit you established when you were pregnant? Oh yeah, okay? Now, one last thing, there's still many factors, but I just wanted to wrap this up a little bit. Expectations, being realistic about expectations. You're gonna come out of this better because you probably didn't have to come from this low of a point to get back that high. And normally what happens is we have to establish these great habits to dig ourselves out of the hole. And then with the momentum, we go higher than what we were before. But you must understand that your body went through a life-altering event. And so it's very hard to get back, but you can get back and be better. Your life has changed forever as well, because mentally you can't just worry about you every day, because a year from now, you're still going to wake up wondering what the baby got going on. When's the baby going to wake up? Or is the baby up already? Like all these things, right? That doesn't really go away. My kids are older. I still worry about them when I get up in the morning. You understand? You're never going to mentally be able to be as selfish as you were before. What you will also start to realize is that if you plan your meals around the child's meals and your bedtime around the child's bedtime, and even model your activities around the child's activities, because there's a reason why a lot of our adolescent adults are in great shape. They eat meals at the same time every day. They normally go to bed at the same time every day. And they have regular physical activities multiple times every day. They don't need a reason. They go to recess. They just go to recess twice a day. It is what it is. They don't even care. They don't care what the weather is. They don't care that they didn't sleep too well. They're going to recess. And that's how you're going to plan your life. And I tell any mother who's struggling to find time to work out, or man, I don't know when to eat. Do exactly what you're doing with your children. And most of you have a schedule for your children. Most of you have a bedtime for your children. You can't put the kid to bed at 8 and think you're going to stay up until 11. And then because you have to get up when the kid gets up, or earlier if you want to work out, right? You're not going to get back to where you were as quickly as what you may want. So it's going to be a longer process, but more rewarding. Because once you get in the flow, then if you have a second or a third child, now I've done it before. Okay? So you have to give yourself some grace. When you're looking in the mirror, honey, let's give ourselves grace. Let's give ourselves grace. Okay? Let's give ourselves grace. As far as your husband is concerned, the men that I've talked to over years and years and years have all resoundingly mimicked the same ideology, okay? The most respect they can have for a woman is a woman who has their own child. Now, that doesn't mean they won't argue with her. That doesn't mean they can't fall out or get divorced with her. But if you poll men and say, how can a woman earn the highest level of respect from you? Giving birth to my child. And that's why they normally hold their mother the highest, because they gave birth to them. So that husband of yours that you think looks at you sideways, oh, Mark, he's not as attracted to me anymore. I got stretch marks now. I'm heavier. My body has changed. One thing I could tell you is, sweetie, if he had an immense amount of respect for you before, it has doubled. And respect wins all the time. He can get back to finding you as attractive as before. If he lost respect for you, it'd be a slippery slope from now on. I got to be honest with you. So just have that understanding that he probably respects you so much, and he sees what you're doing, because we love to see effort. As human beings, we love effort. So he also sees you putting in effort, right? So just be clear of that. The clothing may not look the same as it used to, but you're not the same. You don't have to be the same to be amazing. You don't have to be the same to be amazing. Do not expect your body to perform at the same level as it did before. Let's just say you could do 20 push-ups before. You may only have the strength to do 12 right now. Again, you will get back there, and I promise you'll surpass. But you have to give yourself grace, and you have to give yourself time. All right? 1 meal a day with movement right after. 1 workout per week. And let's establish consistency. And then as we establish consistently, let's get that win note in our phone. Let's put it in our phone so it's always with us. And just start checking off your wins every day. You read 10 pages in a book, that's a win. You had a positive conversation with an employee or a coworker, win. Positive conversation with your mate, win. You're tracking your wins and you're moving daily. You're getting a couple workouts a week. I'm telling you that momentum will pick itself up. You will then start to be motivated and inspired. And here we go. All right. It was great. It was great that you wrote in. And guys, you have to understand something. She was able to be transparent, and that's hard for people to do. But it's hard to transform without being transparent. We have to at least be transparent with ourselves. But if we open up and we're transparent to other people, then we're open to advice. We're open to support. Okay, we're open to different knowledge that other people have because they've had different experiences than us. So it's really great that you were able to be transparent. And guys, if you want to be transparent like her and write me a letter, a detailed letter, right, that I can share on live with someone else and help you and help them, please email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. That's coachmark with a C, 22@gmail.com. All right. And if you're looking for a coach, if you need someone to help you get back on the wagon, maybe you had a baby 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 10 months ago, and you just feel like having a coach for a month or two might help you get headed in that right direction. If that's the case, hit the link in my bio. Let's schedule a free consultation. Let's get on the Zoom and let's talk about it, man. All right. Maybe I'm a good fit for you. Maybe you're a good fit for me. Maybe we aren't, and I can refer you to someone else. Okay. But the first step is the most important. So click the link in the bio if that serves you, all right? This is your guy, Coach Mark. This is Transformation Station. It has been a pleasure as always, all right? Lunchtime Logic. It's nice spending some time with you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.